Morning Stampers, happy Monday. Welcome to Maker Mornings with Meg. I have a Christmas project to share with you again today because we are getting down towards Christmas. So I don't know about you, but the closer I get to Christmas, the more I am really drawn to red and green. So this morning's card is red and green, and it's actually a remake of a card that I don't think I showed you when I made it originally. It was for a demonstrator card swap, which is something we love to do as demonstrators, make a whole bunch of a card and then trade them out to other people to get different ideas. I made it over this morning because I really wanted it to be red and green, and we are going to do embossing today. We're going to do heat embossing and dry embossing. And whether you're a heat embossing expert, like you've done it for years, or this is going to be your first adventure, I doubt you've never seen a better example than the one you're going to see today. It's really easy to spot. And it's really easy to see if you've gotten it all covered. And so I'll share that with you and give you some good ideas for that. But let's see, good morning to Ryan and Tanya and Lori and Sue and Deborah and Cheryl and Trish and Mary and everybody who's here this morning. So sorry, everybody's name doesn't always pop up, but anyway, it's good to see you guys on this happy Monday morning. And Cheryl says she's happy to finally be live. I know, right? It's kind of fun to just kind of be together and see each other. But the stamps that we're using is one that has some great words and some great images. And if you're in a hurry to do your Christmas cards, you just kind of want to, get through them, and you don't want to have a ton of fussy die cutting, or you don't want to die cut at all, then this is the great one. So Stars Are Shining, because it has a coordinating Starlit Punch here. And then all you have to do is stamp and punch these elements out. Plus, it actually punches a whole mess of stars, 6, including that teeny little one, which gives you lots of choices. And so you might not even need a whole punch for every card. So you can punch and use 1 or 2, or we're going to use 3. And all that time you saved with your punching, you can use to do your heat embossing. So, all right. And to go along with that, I want to showcase a embossing folder, which I'm going to go ahead and do here before I flip our camera down. And that is the Merry Melody embossing folder. And there you can see that it's music. If you're wondering what music it is actually Joy to the World. There's sort of like almost like a TikTok joke out there about people trying to sing music that is on a stamp or music that's on some piece of designer series paper or something, and it has nothing to do with the actual holiday. So thank you, Stampin' Up, for making real music on our folders. We just got to log on. We just got this weekend, my daughter and I went up to Augustana College in Rock Island and heard a fabulous Christmas at Augustana concert. We were super excited about that. Some fabulous music and really talented students and so forth. So anyway, we're all in the Christmas mood. And then next weekend is madrigal performances here. And my daughter sings with a madrigal group. So that's a lot of fun. All right. So tips for this folder. First of all, Sheila says she loves that it's real music. First of all, I really like to put the clefs. If you're not a music person, that's what these little guys over here, the G clef and so forth. You want to have those show up on your music. It makes it look really kind of finished and put together. Yay, Cindy! Your Obo Studio did a great job. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And also, if you're not sure which is up or down on the music, having that side of that staff on there will help you kind of orient. So, and really, if you're not a music person, just throw it on there. Who cares? It'll be fine. But if you are, it's very gratifying to know that it comes out well. So I'm down leaning over here. For these 3D embossing folders, you want to remember that when you are doing your embossing, the sandwich is a little bit different. You're going to use your plate here, just the big pad without the thin adapter. So I'm leaving this off. And then I'm going to use the specialty plate. Now the new specialty plate is gray and opaque. It's not this blue one, but it definitely stands out. And then I'm going to put my folder in here, hinge first, and run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And then when it comes out the other side, we have our embossed paper. Pretty, right? So if you are a music fan, you could get this and you could maybe try and use it all year long. Although I promise you that people who are really musical might try to figure out what music is on your cards every time you make this. So anyway, let's flip down and get going. Hi, everybody who's just joined us recently. We're gonna flip down and I'm gonna give you the next steps of our cards. So let's see, I think we're like totally crooked here. There we go. All right, so we have our background here, which is with the, there we go, with our real red cardstock and our embossed layer, our dry embossed layer. We're gonna go ahead, we might as well just get our card base done and mount this on a half sheet of real red cardstock. Just gonna fold that. And then I really like when I have done dry embossing with a lot of texture like this, I really like to use multi-purpose liquid glue or Seal Plus because it gives a much better bond. When there's like a lot of ridges on the paper, I gotta focus for a second, make sure I get this right side up. When there's a lot of ridges on the paper, you wanna make sure you have good contact between the adhesive and the two layers so that it all sticks down, okay? And if you can see there on the side, I've got our staff lines and so forth there. Listed, okay? So they appear. Now, what to put on this? So I told you I was gonna give you a really great example of heat embossing with the Stars Are Shining set. So I'm gonna take a piece of gold foil sheets here. So these are the ones you get 2 in a package. And I am going to do our heat embossing. So if you've never heat embossed, you need Versamark ink, which is the thick, sticky ink that's going to hold our powder. It doesn't have any color to it, but that's okay because our color is gonna come from our embossing powder. So I'm gonna ink this up. It usually doesn't have a big brown stain on it, but this pad has been around forever and it's still going strong. So now when you stamp it on the gold foil, you want to be careful not to shift because it is going to be really slidey on there, okay? Now, before you get your powder out, close your ink pad. And I'm gonna bring in another sheet of paper here. This is a sneak peek from the next catalog. It's playing with my new rainbow sets over the weekend on Friday, actually, I think. And then second step, so first step, Versamark, second step, powder. You're going to take the powder and you're gonna shake it over, and can you see how that image just suddenly pops up? And I missed a little part there on this star, so no problem. I'm gonna scoop up a little powder, there we go, and shift it around. You want to, when heat embossing and stuff, you want to avoid touching this paper as much as possible because you don't want your oils from your fingers and stuff to hold, to make the powder stick on there. And then you're going to go ahead and dump the extra powder back in the container. So the powders will last you a long time. They come as a set. This is from the Basics set, the clear embossing powder. And then you're going to use the third step. So first step, Versamark, second step, powder, third step, embossing tool. Okay, this is the magic, all right? So what this does is it blows hot hair, way hotter than a hairdryer. When these first came out, they used to come, Stampin' Up's heat tool used to come with directions for stripping paint. So, all right, now, can you see what I'm saying here about the best example of heat embossing? Can you see how the powder is changing? It's going from powdery to clear, and it is really obvious where it's done and where it is not done. So if you're new to heat embossing, clear embossing powder, or clear embossing powder on gold foil paper is a great way to be able to tell. And then I'm just gonna flex it backwards a little here so that it flattens out. All right, you guys see that? I think it probably should show up okay on the camera. There we go. The clear embossing powder is real subtle. And so what you're gonna get is you're gonna get this really nice design where it doesn't, it's not quite so in your face. So let's go ahead and bring our punch in here and go ahead and punch our elements. If you haven't used Stampin' Up! Punches before, I always flip them upside down so that it's easy to have here. And I'm going to go ahead and slide this in. Now, I made this too small to hold on to, so I'm gonna show you a trick. what you want to do is grab a Post-it note. This happens to be Inspire, Create, Share Post-it note. You're going to hold it here, pop it on the back of your paper. And what that does is that little Post-it note strip gives you a handle that you can use to move around your elements. Let's see. There we go. And once you've got it lined up, then you can go ahead and punch it. Okay, so there we have our stars here with the Starlit Punch. Let's see, somebody said, oh, Sue said that the clefs are really close to the edge. Yeah, they are. It works out okay though. Then you have mostly music. But at least they're on there. At least they're not missing, so. All right, then I'm gonna go ahead and put some stars on here. So we have our stars here. One, we'll do a little sprinkling of 3. There we go, maybe 1, 2, 3 like that. Would save these for another card. One of the great things to know about heat embossing, when you're working with Versamark ink, it doesn't dry super duper quickly. So you can do multiples. Like if I was gonna do a whole bunch of cards like this, I would have no problem. I could stamp out 5 or even 10 of those star papers on foil and add the embossing powder and then go back and heat them. I don't have to worry that the ink is gonna dry and the powder will flake off. The Versamark gives you a lot of time to work. It's really nice, especially on like a gold foil where it's not really sinking in at all anyway. Okay, so we've got this here. I'm gonna use our Be Bright and Merry. And I'm gonna bring in some green here. Like I said, I'm kind of getting into my red and green phase of Christmas season. So I've got my Real Red ink pad and my Be Merry and Bright. And sometimes I find it's hard to line up straight on my projects when I'm stamping. So I've got my cardstock lined up straight here on my grid paper so that then I can line up my message on my grid paper and do a pretty decent job there of getting that fairly straight, okay? I'm gonna take some snips and clip this off the end, and we're gonna have our Be Merry and Bright coming together like this. But I really felt like this needed some extra fun background. So I was flipping through my designer series paper and I realized that I haven't used Heartwarming Hugs very much this year. So this paper has a lot of little mini red and greens. It came out last year when we had the little mini coffee cups. And actually here's a really cute one, a similar mini coffee cup from my friend Kathy. The Heartwarming Hugs paper came with those, and these little tiny patterns are perfect when you're looking for a variety of patterns. So I brought in 3 of them here. So here are these 3, and I think we're gonna go with Houndstooth and the plaid, and then this one here. So let's pop these underneath here. Let's see, like this. So this is gonna dress up our card. And I love this sort of 3-strip layout. I've actually done a whole bunch of cards in this kinds of series over the last year or 2. And I love the way they give you a variety of textures and patterns and colors. So they work all of that in, but they really fall into the background. So they're not like totally distracting from the main image here. And we also have them kind of all put off to the side so that this is our focal point here with our stars and so forth. I don't have it spread out evenly. You could do that too, but I kind of like it kind of off to the side. You could even put a 4th one on here if it you really like things to be more centered. But of course, whatever works for you. So when I do cards like this, I pull pieces off kind of one at a time. So I'm gonna leave these on here, and I'm going to take off 1 strip at a time and pop some multi-purpose liquid glue on the back, because again, when the underneath layer with our music notes, our Joy to the World, when it has so much texture to it, so much 3D texture, I wanna make sure we get a really strong bond here between our paper layers and our glue, with our glue. So I'm gonna use the multi-purpose liquid glue because it just covers everything, all the surfaces that are available, okay? And then I've got this handy, so let's see, I think I'm gonna bring in some dimensionals for this. And this is where I often like to use the edge pieces from my Stampin' Dimensionals. So let's pop a strip on there. And let's see, Trish said the punch has bigger stars than she was expecting. Yeah, they're good sized. So, all right. And then I'm gonna bring in some more dimensionals here for our stars. So I'm gonna try and keep them kind of all on the same plane. I'm not gonna pop on top of here, but let's go ahead and bring one in here. There we go. And then this larger star here, I'm gonna pop kind of to the side and a little up. And then this little guy is gonna go on here. And I'm just gonna pop the glue onto our green layer here. When you're working with tiny elements, it's often easier to put the glue on the base rather than the glue on the tiny element and then have to try and handle that, so, okay. All right, so there are those pieces. And then we need some kind of embellishment, right? So I thought about different kinds of embellishments. So the gold gilded gems are always a good choice for, you know, bringing gold out, and they're a perfect match for the gold foil. But I thought they might be a little bit too big for this project. So instead, I grabbed my metallic pearls, of which I apparently really prefer using gold because I have tons of silver left and just a little gold. But I'm gonna go ahead and bring these in here and use my Take Your Pick tool. If you are looking for crafting holiday ideas for people, Take Your Pick tool is an excellent choice. Every crafter can use one or two or three. So if you have, if you're worried somebody already has one, it's not a big deal. You definitely still use another. So, all right. And then I'm gonna pop a couple of these here on our base. So I'm using the putty tip and just picking them up, sliding them off the sheet and sticking them on our cards. So, all right. There is our red and green Christmas. So let's see, I think I have some other examples to show you with this card. I have one that uses a paper that is not available anymore, but if you happen to have the Whimsy and Wonder paper, you could do the same card in the pinks and blues and greens, or you could use a different paper necessarily. So a lot of these you could get from non-Christmas paper. So this paper happens to be very Christmassy from this package, but you could make a card like this if you really like the pink and blue and green version using just a designer series paper that happens to have small patterns in those pinks and blues and greens. It doesn't have to be Christmas paper. By the time you get the Merry Melody folder on there and the stars and the greeting and so forth. Oh, we didn't put the inside in our card. Okay, let's do the inside. I wasn't sure to whom this card is going to go, so I decided that I would go ahead and do a blank-ish inside for now, but I don't want to have a blank inside of my card. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop in this basic white layer and then use another strip of our designer series paper to sort of bring that theme inside. So I'll grab my multi-purpose liquid glue again and just run that across. Remember to leave yourself a place to hold on to, sort of a grab point on your paper where you didn't add glue, so you're not getting that on your fingers, and then run that across there. Okay, so now we have a decoration for the inside of our card too. All right, let's see. I think I have another card around here, so let's see. There's the two Christmassy versions, and then this one is a non-Christmas version of the strippy card. This one was the beautiful batik, I think boutique. Anyway, if you search batik, it'll show up. But this is from another Maker Mornings with Meg project earlier. And same idea here. I love using those three strips. I think I had one of these. Oh, I also have one with pansy. Let's see. Here's another pansy one with that three strippy kind of technique. This one, I embossed the background. This one, I left the background plain. So no matter what you decide to do, this is such a great layout for really showing off some fun designer series paper and sort of making the most of a focal point. So for no matter which one of these you're doing, we have the message of a horizontal message and a focal point. A horizontal message and a focal point. You can kind of see how I've reused that design there a few times. So, okay. Alrighty then, well, let's see. I think that kind of is our project for today. Today is, let's see, Monday, like I said, as I try to get my hair in line. Monday, and I'll be back on Wednesday and Friday with another project. The things you'll want to know for this month during December are the last chance list. There are some things available on the last chance list at a discount. There is a link in the video description to all the things that I used today, all the products that I used today, link for ordering, as well as a link for the last chance list. And the last chance list includes not only things that are going to disappear, so they'll retire at the end of December, beginning of January. January 3rd is their last date unless they sell out. But there are also some things on that list, the last chance list, that are discounted. So a great chance to add some of those to your collection at this time of the year. And then there's still some things on the clearance rack that popped up last week as brand new items to the clearance. Well, returning items but new to the clearance list. So you can shop for those too. And my hostess code for the month of December is also in the link in the video description. And I appreciate you guys' support and helping to make these videos possible and so forth. So, all right, I will leave you to getting ready for your holiday preparations and making some cards and some projects. And I'll be back on Wednesday with another gingerbread and peppermint project that is part of the LovenStamps monthly tutorials for the month of December. The ones that you get the free PDF if you place an order with me, or 2 cards and 2 card kits in the mail if you 2 cards in the mail if your order is at least $50. So, all right, guys, have a super fabulous day, and I will see you on Wednesday. So, happy stamping.